what's up guys? This no-skill strategy has stayed #1 in the world for multiple days in a row. I've been waiting for this deck to drop down, but it's been destroying all the pros. Ever since Dagger Duchess got nerfed, split lane pressure has been at the top of the game. And cheap offensive decks like Elixir Golem, where you can split up evolved skeletons and have an Elixir Golem on both sides, are absolutely filthy in this meta. Also, since Dagger Duchess used to delete Skeleton King before it even got to the tower, Skeleton King now is a serious threat. Especially with an endless production of evolved skeletons and Night Witch bats, it's easy to get a full Skeleton King bar, with Void to remove Executioner's buildings and wizards. Along with arrows to erase bait cards, it's become way too difficult to stop this no-skill deck. Let's pulverize our opponents with purple blobs and assert dominance. An extreme Elixir Golem love to everyone that's supporting the channel with credit code SirTag. The Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra is one of the highest quality phones on the market, and it's an absolute powerhouse for gaming. I'm going to be squatting up with Samsung Galaxy and competing with 9 other creators for $5,000 in Samsung Galaxy devices to give back to the community. We're all going to be playing on the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra for buttery smooth quality. Thanks to Samsung Galaxy for sponsoring today's video. And when we're playing against the other creators live on stream, you do not want to miss out because there's going to be some massive news. With the Galaxy S24 Ultra, you can game on the go anywhere. There won't be reflection issues in the sun, and the brightness comes up clutch in the dark. I also love that the screen's pretty big, so whenever I'm playing games, it's really hard to misplace cards or make misclicks. And the battery life lasts all day long too. The high resolution camera is perfect for anyone that wants to level up their photo and video game, ensuring every detail shines through. The processor is one of the fastest ones yet. The Snapdragon 8 Generation 3. With 2x larger vapor chamber, this system allows for cooling at lower temperatures and higher performance at the highest settings. Perfect for competitive or high resolution gaming. Check out the Galaxy S24 Ultra in the link in the description of the video or in the pinned comment. I'm not gonna lie, I cut out the last 3 matches where I 3-crowned people in less than a minute. None of the games are competitive yet. So maybe we will finally find a challenger. So with this deck, the #1 player in the world is using Dagger Duchess. Dagger Duchess is not played by anyone else at top ladder. Everyone is using Princess Tower. So after this first game, I'm going to be using Princess Tower. I assume he uses Dagger Duchess because he wants to ignore more stuff. If you ignore more stuff, you kind of want to be able to eat a 4 or 3 cost card and then go all in. And that's why Dagger Duchess is used in this deck. Princess Tower is better for almost every other deck in the game, especially when you're running control decks, because Dagger Duchess gets overwhelmed. But if your opponent only has Elixir for 1 card because, you know, you're spamming and they have to defend mostly, then it could make sense to run Dagger Duchess. All right, so we are going to go and display our dominance already, and maybe we're going to 3-crown this guy just like the last 3 opponents. He just used his zap, so I wonder if he's going to have a good way of stopping this. Let's arrows. Might be able to slaughter all the minions. Oh, you know what? We are going to be able to fully finish off the Demolisher and not take any damage. It's a beautiful sight to see, knowing that you're going to be ahead, and also getting your opponent to spam into your evolution because the wizard only takes 1 cycle to get to. They nerfed the wizard shield, so now it will end up dying to some of the spells, but it's still really strong. Honestly, they ended up buffing wizard originally when they put it into the game. They're like, oh, it's not strong enough, and it was already good, and then they just like removed it. So I was like, oh, doesn't really matter, you know? It's a great card. It is by far one of the best evolutions in Clash. So I'm going to go in for a wizard here, and I can probably get away with a void on top of the little prince. Even if he does that, I'm okay with this because I can get skeletons down. I don't think my wizard dies immediately, so keeping that wizard alive with the skeletons is a cool trick that a lot of people don't necessarily know. But the wizard evolution will stay alive as long as you drop skeletons nearby. It will not die to a void. So he is going to go in for a pretty deliberate play of going for Prince right there. You know what? Let's go Skeleton King, and then let's go in for a Night Witch in the middle and soak up the damage with the Night Witch because I want the Skeleton King to stay a bit sturdier. That's the card we want to survive because it's got a pretty broken ability. So if it gets near the tower, I think we will win the game. That's our strat here. I'm going to go in for probably a Void, and then I think I can go in for a Skeleton King ability and see if we can bait out his spells that way, because if we bait out his spells and his splash damage, we'll be able to get some nice value later on. Also, we've identified that this guy has a huge likelihood of going in for Voids, so we're going to do this. We're going to go arrows here, and we're also going to go and drop our evolved skeletons since they will start to spawn a lot of skellies around the Goblin Giant. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to go for a king, so we don't take the splash damage on top of the units that matter. And then the Void is going to not be able to kill our Night Witch and our Wizard, so that's cool that we were able to keep those alive. I also do want to go Void directly on that. I could pop the ability. I decided not to too soon. Could have probably done a little bit faster than that. We're definitely in a pretty bad position overall because we're not going to be able to do enough damage with these Elixir Golem Knights to take the tower. And we have to defend against this evolved Goblin Giant that's coming down. how am I going to stop this? I think we can go arrows, and then we can maybe go in for like a Skeleton King afterward and be okay. Skeleton King's got to stop the Prince charge, and it does barely. Very good gameplay on our opponent's end. Like, he's giving us a run for our money. This is kind of what I wanted, you know? I do like testing myself. I don't want to pop the ability. I don't want to do anything too foolish. I bet you goes guard, so we're going to go for Void off to the side. And then I think that the guards wouldn't be dropped to the left-hand side, because if you do drop them on the left, then obviously you're going to get a pretty bad trade, because they're not going to be able to go in the side that you want. So dropping the Void and oriented in the position that we did made sure that he had to drop units on the other's arena to block with, you know, not taking maximum Void damage. To go Skeleton King here, we're going to go Elixir Golem, and then I think it's better for us to just continuously kill the little prince as much as we can. And, yeah, that thing should be gone. I don't have any worries here. I can pop the ability. I can go in for arrows, and I can go rage. I want to go arrows rage because I think the Elixir Golem might do enough damage. Barely. Let's go. So as you can see, we finally got our first contender of the day. I didn't want to open up with 3 crowns in 20 seconds. But, you know, maybe the next opponents won't be as lucky. As promised, the Dagger Duchess is out and the Princess Tower is in for the win. This guy's gonna go for Knight in the back directly into the King. So I think, oh my gosh, what the heck? Usually I'm the person that goes aggressive with this type of deck, but our opponent is throwing a wrench in our plans, dropping Elite Barbarians at the river after displaying a Knight. So typically when we see this type of card combination, it's going to be a 3 Musketeer deck, but I can't guarantee that. And if we're playing against 3 Musketeers, it's obviously awesome if we can go for a Void plus arrows to kill the 3 Musketeers. I don't know if he's going to drop a log. Oh, he drops Electric Wizard. That's even worse. Wait. We go Void. It kills the Tesla. And then the Night Witch is going to be barreling behind with a ton of bats. Even if he arrows, he's not able to clean up the Night Witch bats. And look at the Dagger Duchess. He has literally nothing to stop these bats besides dropping a Rage. So, I mean, forcing him to drop that, it's an extra 2 elixir wasted. He's got Electro Wizard, Rage, Arrows, with possibly an Evolved Tesla. So ample anti-air defense and a lot of like good ways to clean up the bats swiftly. So not necessarily the best thing for us to play into here. I don't know why he's got Elite Barbarians with a Prince in the same deck. This deck feels so funky, man. Anyway, we need to go in for a Skeleton King. I think if we go for an Elixir Golem at this point, we should be able to defend and apply pressure at the same time. The cool thing that we have here is the capability of using the Wizard Shield, so we can knock away off of our Elite Barbarian counters. And then I think we're in a good spot because, look, the Elixir Golems are still bopping and blobbing, just gallivanting through and getting damage. I love that card when it's working for me, but man, there's nothing more infuriating than losing to Elixir Golem, even though our opponent has a Mega Knight Elite Barbarians deck with a Tesla, one of the most defensive and aggressive decks simultaneously mixed together. Like, this deck that he has created is straight out of mid-ladder for sure. We want to go in for our skeletons here. I don't think this is going to be an easy defense, but it is definitely possible. We want our skeletons to die so then we can start swarming him with our graveyard skeletons, basically, from the Skeleton King. Oh, wait. If we arrows on the Prince, it's not going to take our tower. We're going to go for an Elixir Golem in the middle, and then we could even plop down with the Wizard to troll him a little bit. The cool thing that you have with this deck is no matter what mid-ladder menace deck that your opponent has, no matter how toxic you might think that their deck is, yours will be worse. Yours is going to be like nuclear levels of toxicity. Guy's going to go in for Mega Knight, but there's nothing he can do. We're just going to kite him all the way around the map with Elixir Golem. This is one of the more underrated plays in Clash Royale. If you want to be an absolute troll, you can use your Elixir Golem on defense in the last couple seconds, and you know that your opponent's going to get a ton of Elixir. But they're never going to have the time to spend it. So there's no way that this guy enjoyed this game. But it is totally and utterly deserved for playing a Mega Knight Elite Barbarians deck. Top ladder toxicity hits different. Mid ladder simply stands no chance. Even though the last game was definitely dominant, I'm greedy for more. This is what Elixir Golem does to you. You want to win and you want to win faster. However, if I go for an Elixir Golem at the start, it could be a disaster if I overcommit and I go into like a bomb tower executioner. You just instantly lose the game if your opponent has a huge hard counter to you and you don't know what you're playing into and you just spend too much Elixir because you're donating the Elixir back into the opponent and you're going to get such a bad trade if they defend properly. So the best play to do at the start is to go in for a Skeleton King and use your Night Witch and just check out the other side of the map. Maybe you can go in for a good Void to snipe a Wizard like you just saw there. Maybe the opponent won't have Pekka and then you're able to pummel the tower, but it didn't work out perfectly. It could have been better, and we could have actually done destructive damage to take a tower without donating Elixir. So do not be a charity case out here where you're needing Elixir to come back in the game or you're down a destructive amount of damage. better to go for Elixir Golem when you've identified the deck. Like, I know he's not going to have a bomb tower because he's got Pekka. So I can go in for an aggressive Elixir Golem here, and I can also go for the Rage. As I said, I'm trying to 3-crown this guy, so no mercy, no rest for the wicked. We found a good opportunity, and this guy is finding nothing but sadness. So I feel like it's going to get a little bit worse for him because his wizard gets obliterated too, and you would think the wizard evolution came out with the void. How did he not learn how to master the spell, right? He actually was in a lot of the artwork in Clash Royale's release, and there's just like, hey, void wizard, and it seems like even though he's 5 elixir, he can't avoid the void. This guy has dropped the most adventurous Pekka I've seen in a minute. And you know what? We can go for Evolved Skeletons. They will die to the Wizard Shield, but it's fine. We have a Wizard Shield of our own, and I think we can go for a Night Witch here too. Wait, the Wizard didn't even need its shield. Seems like our Harry Potter is simply superior. We have graduated to a new class at Hogwarts, sir, and you are getting the most wartly push ever that you can't thwart. So, obviously, you know, the 3-crown is exactly what we wanted, so I couldn't have asked for a better way to end the match. In fact, it was such a good game, the guy had to change his name for GGG, the greatest good game. Not really, because our deck is so deplorable, but, you know, we're going to roll with it anyway. We're really on a roll, and we've dug up a Miner player. So just looking at the banner, there's no way he's not playing Miner. Wait, dude, seriously? You were so committed to dropping Miners everywhere on your banner and mastery, but I guess you just dig the mind games, my dude. I'm going to go for the Night Witch and the Skeleton King. Again, that is the preferred play for us at the start of the day. And we're going for the Void. And wait. This is hilarious because we can keep the stuff really far away from our units using our skeletons. And then it doesn't even look like he's able to kill the Skeleton King. He might not be able to kill it. If we can go for a Rage, obviously optimal for us to continuously apply more pressure because the Dagger Duchess isn't in a good spot to defend, depleted of all the ammo. Also, the guy might be depleted for more than that way with 0 elixir in the back. So I wonder if I'm able to void on top of this as well. I hope I can hit something else. He might just lose the entire tower and the Prince to the Void. Beautiful, baby. I'm going to go in for the arrows and kill the Firecracker. You can't Michael Jackson moonwalk away. You are going to pay for that horrible play at the start. Going in for that Goblin Giant was aggressive, and he's going in for another one. Wait, you know what? Screw it. I don't care. That's fine. We might be able to just Skeleton King off to the side. It'll splash on to both of his cards at the same time. So I thought about it from the practical way of, hey, let's think about the investment in the future of the 3-crown. Because it doesn't matter if he takes a tower, if his tower's in shambles at 1,800 HP. It does matter, however, if I have no elixir, no counter-pushing cards, and he gets a lot of damage on my 3-crown. So if you can't defend everything, don't try to, because then you're going to lose everything that you have. You can't defend everything, you'll lose everything, is what I'm trying to say. You got to be practicable with your elixir investments. Wait, did I say practical or practical? I think I don't even know how to say English. Maybe it's so practical that our words are evolving with us. Guys, I'm slightly stupid sometimes, but you just have to roll with me as we roll over and roll our opponent here. I'm going to go in for our Skeleton King first, so it takes all of the targeting, and then we're going to split up our skeleton so it might lock onto the tower. Wait. Who would ever spend elixir with the Skeleton King ability when you can get free elixir skeletons with the skeleton evolution? I mean, why not both, actually? Screw it. And then we void in 3-crown. Wait, we didn't even need the void. The Evo Goblin Giant player got pretty banged up as all 3 of his crowns were busted. To slide into the game, we have to drop a Skeleton King on that and a wizard. Unfortunately, we are not lucky enough to have any of our spells. If I had arrows or skeletons, very cheap defense. But at least we get a cohesive counter push with the Skeleton King and the wizard. And also, we were playing against a Logbait deck, so it's going to be harder for us to break through, especially in single elixir, because he will be able to afford his princess, his Inferno Tower, and it's not going to be easy because he'll go in for Goblin Barrels and keep us on the back foot. So what I need to do is I need to cycle skeletons and be able to have split lane pressure. Usually, in these type of matches, no matter if they're going to have a hard counter to you or if they're just going to have a control deck, you'll want to build up 2 Elixir Golem pushes. I have to preface this with, you do not have to think when you play this deck. But if you want to think, it'll increase your chances of winning and you'll be even more devastating to the opponent. So we're going to go for our Elixir Golem now and just eat an entire Goblin Barrel because he's down so much elixir and I think he's dead. I don't think there's any way for him to defend. Because he's only going to have like a skeleton army and a log, and it's just not possible. So when your opponent commits too heavily, it's important to recognize, hey, my win condition can 3-crown you and take a tower. Yours, it's not the same. You and I, we don't fly the same way, brother man. I'm going to go Skeleton King here with an Elixir Golem, and he might have just left. Oh my gosh, he just doesn't want to play anymore. This deck does have the tendency of making people rage quit like that, so it's cool that we're able to showcase that too today. Opponents' mentals won't get out of the game unscathed as they get slaughtered. If they don't have the Elixir to defend against Elixir Golem, they get ended immediately. It's time to showcase how to build a push of doom with this deck. I haven't even needed to do it yet, so maybe this guy will push us to that potential. Especially after seeing a Valkyrie, I feel like I can't win easily. Usually in these matches, you have to play your best and do split lane pressure, so then they only have one Valkyrie and you have 2 Elixir Golems, and then they don't know what to do and they get caught in a tango that they can't keep up with you. And it's weird because you would think like a fast cycle deck with Mortar and Valkyrie will be able to always keep up, but it doesn't work like that always. We're going to Void and we're going to pop the ability of the Skeleton King just to test the waters. He'll probably log and defend, unless he's just unlucky. Oh, he's got arrows. That's way better. Arrows, -1 trade into the Skeleton King ability. We take that all day. I love how his clan is like Profi, and we're profiting off of his plays. So solid stuff. So again, usually want to get skeletons, do the skeleton split. You have 2 Elixir Golems. Cycle your Elixir Golem first, get back to another one, and then you will be able to do dual lane problems for the opponent. So I hope that that's going to be the case on how we win today. That's the only way I'm able to break through Valkyrie, unless we like Void, Rage, Night Witch, and then kill it. I mean, it's not easy. Valkyrie is really one of the hardest counters to this deck. Usually Executioner just dies to your opponent's Void every time. So you're like, hey, Executioner, you're not that scary. All right, what do we do? I mean, we can go Skeleton King again and just test the waters. He arrowed it last time, not that good for him at all. I can Void, and it will kill the Dark Goblin, so that's good. I don't want to pop too much here, and I used the Void to kill the Dark Goblin and hit the tower at the same time. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but the Dark Goblin takes 2 ticks instead of 1 if you drop the Void on that and also on top of the tower at the same time. So it's always better to hit the tower, since you're going to get the 3rd Void shot to hit the tower by itself. You get maximum damage there. Also, not annoying to face someone that does this, but we should be fine. We have arrows as well. We don't want to drop that too soon, but if our opponent is going to get a maximum value with the Dark Goblin, I have to take it. He's going to protect it after all. There's no way that he doesn't. Yep, he goes in for the Valkyrie. Anticipated that entirely. All right, we're going to go Skeleton King, and if he goes Minion Horde, we have Void, and we also end up having Rage. So there's a couple different things we can do. I think Voiding here is not bad. So we're going to go and take that amazing trade. Oh, he's going to lose the Dark Goblin. Pop the ability if we can. If not, it's fine. Yo, I feel like I was a little bit evil with that laugh, eh? All right, so I can Elixir Golem. I don't necessarily want to. I think it's a bad play, especially if he's going to try to set up a defensive mortar like that. It's better for us to start a journey of the Elixir Golem in the back and then do split lane pressure. We're able to do that. That's the best way to win here. Especially with the Wizard, I think I'm in a good spot to go in for Skeleton Split and then go in for probably a Night Witch on the left-hand side, arrows here, and then get another Elixir Golem with the Skeletons in the right. So the way that we play this, he's got 1 Valkyrie. He has to deal with all this stuff. This is incredibly difficult for him to defend. If we can range this up, we might be able to kill the Mortar a little bit quicker. We have the Elixir Golem on the left. We got the Night Witch rolling on the left. Look at how much stuff we have. So that split lane pressure absolutely melted this man's mental. Despite him having Valkyrie, he got axed. And against Mr. Profi, we were rolling in the Elixir with multiple Wizards on the left, 2 Elixir Golems, and he had nothing to stop us. When the Elixir stocks soar in double and triple Elixir, you can stack up multiple Elixir Golems on both sides, and that's when this deck becomes lethal. No matter what deck you're playing against, no matter what professional player is trying to defend, this is one of the most difficult decks to stop in Clash Royale. And that last game exemplifies why this deck consistently wins all the way to #1 in the world. Slime the like button if you enjoyed today's video, subscribe for more daily content, and have an amazing rest of your day.